I did.
We're having like a technology day. I just want everybody to know that Sabrina and I'm just going to rat us out, Sabrina, that we were getting everything set up and Sabrina said she couldn't hear me and I was trying to figure out what was wrong with my microphone. And then we realized that she had her sound on mute. So
yeah,
it's that kind of day. Sorry, Sabrina. I had to share that little story because sometimes technology does things like that to us.
I really intend to be a good Facebook Live guest. I have the best intentions.
I know. You know what? I will say this, that we were doing a whole bunch of Facebook Lives in this group in the spring. And then we we haven't done one in a few months. So we're getting used to it again. And so if we're having any, technical issues, we apologize. But I can see, I think people are on. I don't know why. I have Facebook open too, Sabrina, but I don't see us. Do you see us on yours?
I see us. I see Melissa and Amy are with us. Okay. Adam is here. Glad to see you too, Adam.
Great. Awesome. So people are here. And so why don't we get started? So for anybody who doesn't know me, I am Donna Leyens. I am the co-founder with Mike Michalowicz of Pumpkin Plan Your Biz. And what we do at Pumpkin Plan Your Biz is we provide business coaches and consultants who often find themselves reinventing the wheel with each client and feeling frustrated because maybe the results are not consistent and headed towards burnout. We provide coaches and consultants training and certification and support in our proven growth process that is based on the Pumpkin Plan, which I hope all of you have read. And if you haven't read it, I highly recommend it. And what that does is it gives business coaches, consultants, professionals a program that enables you to easily and consistently deliver high value to more clients. And I am really excited to have Dr. Sabrina Starling back with us today because Dr. Sabrina, among other things, was our very first Pumpkin Plan strategist to sign up and take a chance on us back when we launched Pumpkin Plan Your Biz 8 years ago almost. It's been almost 8 years. So thank you. Thank you for your faith in us, Sabrina. And Sabrina has been using the Pumpkin Plan for many years very successfully with her clients and is here to share her wisdom with us today. So and I could go on and on about all the great things about Dr. Sabrina, who is the founder of Tap the Potential Coaching and has been working with clients for many years, was working with small business clients before she joined us, and then became a Profit First professional and has also developed her own amazing programs around hiring for small business and creating great places to work. And what we're going to talk about today, how to hire the best. This is her most recent in her How to Hire the Best series. And we're going to talk today about something that's near and dear to both of our hearts, which is how can a small business owner grow their business without giving up their life, basically?
Yeah.
And so... Yeah. So welcome, Sabrina. Thank you for always being willing to jump on and talk to everybody and share your wisdom. So what I want to start with is, Sabrina, you and I have known each other for almost 10 years, believe it or not. It's been, I think it's been about 9 years. And I know that you've been on a mission to help entrepreneurs take their lives back from their business. You and I have had many conversations on this topic. And as a matter of fact, your newest book, which is not in the How to Hire the Best series, called The 4-Week Vacation, is going to feature your clients, and I think maybe me, I might be in it, who have followed your process to get their business to run without them for 4 weeks, hence the 4-week vacation. And that latest book is going to be coming out in the fall. And, so here's my first question. Why are you so passionate about helping entrepreneurs to take their lives back? Like, why is this so important?
Yeah, so this has everything to do with how you and I met and why I was drawn to the Pumpkin Plan. And the Pumpkin Plan is core. It's a core piece of our Tap the Potential solution that we use to help entrepreneurs take their lives back from their business. So when I was coaching entrepreneurs, I was just blown away by them, working 70, 80, 90 hours a week. And I was determined, like, this is not good quality of life. This doesn't work. This is not sustainable. And what really connected for me is that when I was 5 years old, I watched my father chomp down his food really fast and race out the door to go to work. And my mom explained to 5-year-old me that, your dad his family never sat down for dinner. They ate out of the concession stand, popcorn, candy, soda pop. That was their meal. My grandfather, Slim Starling, owned drive-in movie theaters and service stations. And so he was a true entrepreneur, and the entire family, they oriented their entire life around the business. And this is the legacy that I grew up with. And I saw my dad working hard all the time. So much so that, I learned these lessons in my childhood around the day is measured by how much work is done. And, you don't relax until all the work is done. Work comes first. That was the main message going on. Well, when I had some issues in childhood, I had a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress. I had TMJ. I had a crick in my neck for weeks, and I had to walk sideways. And I'm laughing about it now, but it wasn't funny as a child. There was all this tension and pressure. And then, I carried that with me into my adulthood. I went to graduate school, and I remember my friends going out to eat on Thursday evening, and they were going to sit down and watch Friends and ER. That was the thing to do back then. And I would say, no, I've got too much work to do. I can't join you. Like, what's that about? And so as I went into the work world and left my job and then became an entrepreneur myself, and the reason I did it was because I wanted to be more present with my family. Well, what I noticed very quickly, and I mean within months of starting my business, I was reading Michael Gerber's E-Myth, and I'm rocking my daughter Kylie to sleep. At that point, she was probably a few months old, and I'm rocking her to sleep, and I have just enough light in this dark room to read this book. And it's right there in front of me that I'm doing everything wrong. Like, oh, I just started my business and I'm doing everything wrong. What on earth? And at that point, I knew I had to set my business up in a different way. And I was on a quest to figure this out. Like, how do you, and especially as a coach, how do you design a coaching company that does not rely on the coach? That was a huge question. And I actually had the opportunity to meet Michael Gerber a few years, it was probably like 9 or 10 years back now. And I asked him, I'm a coach and I am trying to set my company up to run without me. What advice would you have for me? And he looks at me like square in the eyes and he says, my dear, I own a coaching company and I have never coached a day in my life. And I was like, what kind of answer is that? That's just not, you didn't tell me anything. And I was so frustrated. And at the same time, looking back, he told me everything, all in that one sentence. And that really has led me over the years to try to piece together a solution for entrepreneurs to take their lives back. And I have read E-Myth, I've read Traction, Pumpkin Plan, Profit First, all these books that are out there. And they offer a part of the solution, but they're not the full solution to be able to take your life back from your business. And what I want to share with entrepreneurs is there is a solution, and these tools like Pumpkin Plan and Profit First, how to hire the best, can be combined in such a way that in 12 to 18 months time, you absolutely can take your life back from your business. And that's why I'm excited to be here with our pumpkin planners, because you all are schooled on pumpkin planning. And so you're really strong on a key piece of the solution to be able to take your life back. And I want to share those secrets that are in the pumpkin plan today to support entrepreneurs with that.
Awesome. Yeah. What a powerful story, Sabrina. And I'm sure that a lot of people here have a similar story or something that they can relate to in your story. I'd be curious, just say yes in the comments if you can relate to Sabrina's story, just so we get an idea of like how many people here are, have had that moment.
I'm really curious from our pumpkin planners to hear what is the longest time you've been able to be away from your business fully unplugged? Like no cell phone access, not logging into QuickBooks and processing payroll while you're on vacation, just fully unplugged. What is the longest time you've been able to be away and do that? So I see some people saying yes, definitely relating.
Yeah, for sure. I relate. I have flashbacks.
Yeah.
So Sabrina, the core offering that, you were talking about how you've taken the pumpkin plan and profit first and your material for how to hire the best and created a full offering that addresses really the big picture for entrepreneurs and small business owners. So that offering is called the Better Business, Better Life program. And I personally have had the pleasure of getting to know many of your clients over the years at your annual Breakthroughs on the Bayou retreat that you do every year. And I know that because of the work that they are doing in your program, they are experiencing more time for what matters the most to them. And they also have more money in their bank accounts than they ever have before, which sounds really good, right? I mean, yeah. I don't know anyone who would argue with that. So I'm wondering if you could share a few secrets with us about how they do this and where does the pumpkin plan fit in? Because, I'm all about the pumpkin plan.
Yeah. So first, I just want to acknowledge that I see when I asked what's the longest you've been away from your business fully unplugged, I see someone who said never, 0, 2 days, never fully unplugged, 1 week, and James, 4 weeks. You go, James. That's awesome. And so this is what really gets to me is we start our businesses because we want more freedom. And the more the business grows, the less freedom we experience. And so on the one hand, the pumpkin plan offers secrets to freeing us up from the day-to-day demands of our business. And on the other hand, if you don't catch those secrets in the pumpkin plan and you pumpkin plan and your business grows, now you could have way more responsibility on your shoulder than you anticipated. So to me, it's really critical that our pumpkin planners get this information. So I want to walk through the 5 steps of the Tap the Potential solution. And then I'm going to go back to steps 2 and 3, which pertain to the pumpkin plan. So the Tap the Potential solution is designed to give you a business that gives you more time for what matters most and more money in your bank account than ever before. So the start of the Tap the Potential solution is to design your business to be sustainably profitable. This is where we support our clients at Tap the Potential in implementing profit first in their business, because we need to get the business owner healthy. The best way to get the business owner healthy is to put an end to laying awake at night worrying about cash flow. And profit first accomplishes that. As a psychologist, I think this is such a critical piece for us to wrap our heads around, that if we don't have profit in our business, it affects us, the business owner, in such a way that we can't do the higher level thinking that we need to do to free ourselves up from our business and to grow our business effectively. So profit first, getting that in place. Step 2 in the Tap the Potential solution is to niche down with a clearly defined sweet spot. That is the pumpkin plan. You pumpkin planners, you know about the sweet spot. And it really is about niching down. So many of the clients that we work with at Tap the Potential come to us with what I call overweight businesses. And that comes from what happens when we are in startup phase? We believe, we need to say yes to every opportunity because you never know where, you want to make sure the cash is coming in the door. So you say yes to everything. Well, if you carry that mentality forward as the business grows and you're saying yes to everything and trying to serve everyone with all these different needs, your energy and your team's energy is really scattered. And you end up with a lot, especially businesses I'm talking about, 1.5 million, 3 million, 5 million, 10 million in revenue without a clearly defined sweet spot. What happens in these businesses is you end up hiring team to deal with your most challenging clients and customers. And then because you've hiring payroll is usually the biggest expense. And so that's where the profit suck comes into a business, is not having that clearly defined sweet spot. So we look at, when clients come in at Tap the Potential, we really look at, is that sweet spot clearly defined and does it need to be honed in even more? That is the key to profitability. It is really the start of having a business that can run without you, because when you niche down to that clearly defined sweet spot, you have the opportunity to create systems. And then you also have the opportunity to hire around serving the sweet spot. That is a critical piece, because as a hiring expert, a lot of times people start hiring without that sweet spot, and they're hiring people for things that they shouldn't even be doing in the business to begin with. So I always say, if you have that opportunity, do define your sweet spot clearly first. You want to say something, Donna?
Yeah, well, it reminds me of something that I hear a lot from people who have started their business from scratch, started as a solopreneur, and they say, how could I possibly find somebody to work in my business that would care enough about my business or care as much as I do? I'll never be able to do that. Like, I hear a lot of resistance to the idea that you can hire people to do the work that you're doing now.
Yeah, I was resistant myself to do it in my
Yeah.
own business. And after writing this book, How to Hire the Best, and taking clients through hiring A players and their team, I finally had the courage to do it in my own business. So I fully understand that fear. And at the same time, that fear keeps us stuck working in our business the rest of our lives. So if you're a solopreneur, or you just have one or two trusted people and you're afraid to grow, recognize that if you keep doing the same thing, you're going to get the same result. And that is, you're going to be tied to your business.
Yeah, I would love to know how many people here today feel like one of the things that's holding you back is this inability to figure out who you should hire or can you hire. Like, are employees the sticking point for you right now? I'm just curious. Just let us know, like, yes, they are,
Yeah.
or I'm terrified to hire, or whatever it is. Because I do hear this a lot, that people just think, well, how could I possibly hire somebody to do the work that needs to get done, because I'm the only one that can do it as
Yeah.
well as I do, which is a limiting belief, by the way, because in my experience, there are people who can do things better than I do.
Oh, yeah.
And then we all just focus on our own genius work, right?
Well, and that's a key point that I wanted to make on this Facebook Live today, is that we're going to talk a little bit about how to make your time worth $10,000 an hour as a business owner, and understanding that each and every one of us has our unique gifts and talents, and they are a very defined little sweet spot for us individually. So the same logic applies when we're pumpkin planning our business. We also need to be pumpkin planning our time as entrepreneurs, and looking at what are our unique gifts and talents and how do we delegate out the rest. Because inevitably, when we delegate out the things that are not our strengths and talents, we will find people who can do those things better than us. And that's where we really start to grow. And so I'm going to just keep us going through the Tap the Potential solution here. So step 2 is to niche down with that clearly defined sweet spot. Step 3 is to innovate, which is also part of pumpkin planning. And this is one I see entrepreneurs stopping short, especially our pumpkin planners stop short in this area. When you do the wish list interviews with your top clients and customers, and you have their responses of what they appreciate most about what you do for them and what would help them sleep better at night or end the work day sooner, it's very easy to look at that and say, well, I don't do those things. Or I hear this stuff all the time from my clients and customers. Well, the gold really for innovation lies within those responses to the wish list interviews. And we need to do a much better job of listening to our top clients and customers in terms of what they want most from us, because that points a direct path to where we can innovate and really stand out and be different. And the other piece around pumpkin planning that it's just, it floors me when I think about this. And I have been working through the pumpkin plan for many years now, and I can't believe I just learned this a few years ago. So when we think about our top 20% of our clients who are responsible for 80% of our revenue, if we were to set a goal to increase the revenue from our top 20% by 25%, we would have enough revenue coming in to drop 80% of our clients and customers. Did you get that? Okay, so take your top 20%. If you set a goal to increase the revenue to those top 20% by 25% in the next year, you will replace the revenue from 80% of your clients and customers. And so this is where,
and that's because 80% of your revenue is coming from 20%.
Yes.
Of your clients. Yeah. So like, I know it's hard to wrap your mind around numbers when you can't actually see them. But the key to this is that about 20% of your clients are bringing in the majority of your revenue, and the rest are just, they're taking up a lot more of your time than they're returning to you.
They're sucking away time and energy. And so a lot of times I will hear people who've pumpkin planned in their business say, I don't have time to do more for my top clients and customers. That's a key to me when I hear that they don't have their clearly defined sweet spot yet. They still have difficult clients and customers that are in the mix who are keeping them from being able to innovate and do things for their top clients and customers. So this is where innovation really creates the biggest opportunity for us in our businesses, is to really know our top 20% and what they want most from us, and to constantly be asking ourselves and our team, what else can we do to be serving that top 20%? It is much easier and much more fun and joyful and fulfilling and financially rewarding to serve that top 20% than to be going after new business. But yeah, what do we all do? We go after new business and we try to find them out there.
We do. And I have a couple interesting points that I just want to make. Number one, the Pumpkin Plan Action Guide, which is the program that people like Sabrina and the rest of our certified strategists use, have the tools to help you figure this all out. So you can't necessarily figure it out in your head, but we have tools that help you figure out who that top 20% are and how to reach them in a way where you're offering them something of high value to them, that you then can increase what they're buying from you by 25% and get rid of the rotten pumpkins, right? So,
and that really is, when we're talking about work supports life, not the other way around, and taking your life back from your business, it starts with getting rid of the rotten pumpkins, because they take away the profit of the business and they take away your energy and your team's time and energy. So that is one of the very first steps, is that piece in the pumpkin plan where you let go of the most difficult clients and customers over time. So step 4 in the Tap the Potential solution is to network and hire the best and develop your team using an A-player attraction system, which I talk about. All the steps are in my book, How to Hire the Best. And you want to, after you do step 4, you want to continue that networking so that you always have a pipeline of A players chomping at the bit to go to work for you. So it's really about learning how to position yourself as an employer of choice. So everything that you learn about pumpkin planning and attracting your top clients and customers to you, because you begin to focus on that, we then take that knowledge and we apply it to hiring the best. So we study at Tap the Potential, we interview A player team members, and we only talk to your A player team members because we want to replicate them. We want to bring more of them into the business, and we use what we learn about them to attract more and to intentionally amplify what they appreciate about what you're doing. So if you're a pumpkin planner and you're thinking, I'm scared to hire, I don't know, and you've learned the lessons well in the pumpkin plan for attracting your A player clients and customers, you can then turn that around and use that to attract your A player team members to help you grow your giant pumpkin. So as you go through these steps of the Tap the Potential solution, what you end up with is a business that really does give you more time for what matters, because now you have team, you have a clearly defined sweet spot, and you have profit. So hence, you have more money in your bank account than ever before. And when you implement profit first and then you follow it with the pumpkin plan is key to being able to hit those target allocation percentages that are listed in profit first. I have not come across a business owner yet who has been able to do that without pumpkin planning their business.
Yeah, and there something interesting came up. Somebody in the comments wrote that because they've lost some revenue due to the pandemic, they can't afford to hire.
Yes.
And I have some ideas about that, but I'm wondering, how that relates back to this idea of your $10,000 an hour time, and how you can make your employees a profit center, perhaps.
Absolutely. So let's go right there and talk about how to make your time worth $10,000 an hour. So we spend way too much time in our businesses doing tasks that are worth $10 an hour, $100 an hour, and not doing the tasks that really leverage us and our unique gifts and talents as the entrepreneur of the business. So a $10 an hour task is answering email, posting on social media, and it's really about what is the value that is created by that activity. Not much value is created by you checking email and posting on social media. And so we want to look at what is a better use of your time. So for those of you who want to get your hands on my chart of $10,000 an hour activities, you can go to tapthepotential.com/10K. And I'm going to try to type and chat at the same time so that we get this link into the chat. So what I want you to wrap your head around is when you're pumpkin planning your business and you're talking to a top client or customer and you're asking them, what do you appreciate most about what we do for you? That is a $10,000 an hour activity. Just that few minutes that you're doing that, because they're giving you information about what you can do more of that would add value. And the key really to hiring and creating the margin that you need to hire is to add value. And the only way you're going to get there is to talk to your top clients and customers and find out what they value most. So, by the way, I did manage to type and talk at the same time. I'm impressed with myself. So the link to
I'm very impressed too. I'm very bad at that.
is in the comments there for you. So another example of a $10,000 an hour activity is implementing profit first in your business. So when you go down to the bank and you open 5 bank accounts and you have that conversation with your banker, that is a $10,000 an hour activity, because you are installing a system in your business that is going to guarantee your profitability going forward. It guarantees that you as the business owner will have money that is accumulating in the business that is not being plowed back into the business, that allows you that opportunity for growth. So the other piece around hiring, when you feel like I can't afford to hire, is to understand there are roles. You don't have to hire a full-time person. You can hire someone on a part-time basis. You can hire someone on a contract basis, like 10 hours a month. An executive assistant is a great place to start. So somebody who responds to your emails for you and filters those out. Somebody who schedules your meetings for you, so you're not doing those things, because those are $10 an hour activities. And on the one hand, you could say, I don't want to pay somebody, several $100s a month or more to do these things for me because I've had to scale back and my revenue is down. Well, what is it that the better question to be paying attention to is, what is it keeping me from doing by not having someone in the business doing these things for me? What time gets freed up? And you would be amazed. I am floored at how much time I was spending doing these lower value activities in my business when I didn't have help. And so it's really about what opportunities get created by you bringing that additional help into the business. And you can start on a very small scale to accomplish that.
Yeah. And well, first of all, I want to say I did get that link into the description. That's right above the video. So anybody who's looking for it, you can go grab Sabrina's how to make your time worth $10,000 an hour, which I think we all want. But another comment I want to make just to reinforce what you said, Sabrina, is what I found, because I was afraid that I couldn't afford to hire either. And what I found was when I took that leap and said, okay, all of these things that I could be doing to grow my business are not happening because I'm spending my time doing things that not only don't have to be me, but I'm not necessarily the most efficient at those things or the best at them. Once I made that leap and said, now I'm not talking about hiring somebody full time, like making that kind of commitment. I'm talking about like bringing somebody on part-time as an independent contractor even. So it's not like you're suddenly committing yourself to hiring somebody for $50,000 or $100,000 a year or anything like that. You can start off small. But what I found was once I identified those activities that would free me up to do the higher value work, my business grew much more than what I was paying that person.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So I got a lot of value out of it, but it's a chicken and the egg thing. I realized that if I was going to wait until I could absolutely afford it, I probably would still be waiting.
It wasn't going to happen. So I want to comment. Steve asked us to do a quick recap of the Tap the Potential solution in the 5 steps. So step 1, Steve, is
do you want me to put that in the, is that it?
There,
Sabrina?
yeah, let's have it on screen. I know it's really tiny, but let me walk you through it real fast. Yeah. So step 1 is to design your business to be sustainably profitable. Step 2 is to niche down with a clearly defined sweet spot. And you can see the sweet spot right there, hopefully in that little circle from Pumpkin Plan, which, by the way, this is where we hear our clients falling back in love with their businesses when they've niched down like that with that clear sweet spot. Step 3 is then to innovate, to create the margin that you need to be able to hire and grow your business. Step 4 is to build your lean and mighty team. So you hire just the right people to serve the sweet spot and nothing else in the business. It has to be a lean and mighty team. So you need A players. A players are 900 to 1200% more productive than warm bodies. And when you get them in the roles around your sweet spot and they are working from their strengths, that's where you see that 900 to 1200% increase in productivity, which also drives your profit up. And then step 5 is to network using your hire the best A player attraction system so that you always have a pipeline of candidates who want to come to work for you. And when you get there, you are at a point where you are ready, you have really taken your life back from your business. So Steve, thank you for asking that question. We've got the Tap the Potential solution there on the screen. I know it's really small. Thanks, Donna, for showing that.
Okay, here, I'll put myself back on and take that down.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay. Okay, so I'm wondering if we have any other, I'm going to look through and see if we have any other questions. Is anybody, oh, Sabrina, do you want to tell everybody about your new Facebook group?
Yes. So we have a new Facebook group starting up right now with Tap the Potential. It's called Entrepreneurs Take Your Life Back. And this is for those of you who are ready to really dive in to creating that business that gives you more time for what matters most and more money in your bank account than ever before. So the Entrepreneurs Take Your Life Back group is live now on Facebook. We have people joining it. I would love to have you pumpkin planners in there with us. And the link to that is when you download the chart of $10,000 an hour activities, you're going to be taken to a link that takes you straight into the group so you can join. So if you, for easy access to that group, is just go to tapthepotential.com/10K, get the download, and then it's going to take you straight into the opportunity to come into that group. Next, at the end of this month, I am going to do the Better Business, Better Life Jumpstart in that group, where I walk you through each day. I'm going to do a mini training on each step of the Tap the Potential solution, and you're going to get these wins each day. And I'm all about small steps forward, taken in a consistent direction, lead to big change over time. So in that Better Business, Better Life Jumpstart, I'm going to do a little training that's going to give you a win each day that's going to accumulate over the 5 days to really get you moving in the right direction to having that business that gives you your life back. So tapthepotential.com/10K get you the chart of $10,000 hour activities, get you into the Facebook group, and then you're going to be eligible for all these free trainings that I'll be doing in the Entrepreneurs Take Your Life Back Facebook group. Donna, I want to share a few ninja tips that I have learned that we use at Tap the Potential.
Okay.
Around the pumpkin plan to help add value and create that margin. Because I really hear that as kind of a big thing for these pumpkin planners around how do I have the money to even hire a team and grow, especially with COVID right now. So it's a big deal. There is a way to do in the moment pumpkin planning in your business. And there's a tool called the Net Promoter Score. And the Net Promoter Score is where you ask your clients at a certain point after you've delivered a service, on a scale of 0 to 10, how likely are you to refer your friends and family or colleagues to us? And 7s and 8s are passives, 9s and 10s are promoters. 9s and 10s are your pumpkins. They may or may not be giant pumpkins, but they are pumpkins in your patch. And 6 and below are detractors. So that's great to know, where your clients stand. But what's also very helpful is the follow-up question, and that is, what is the reason for your rating above? So your 9s and 10s, who are your pumpkins, are telling you when they answer that question what they appreciate most about what you're doing for them. Now, the thing about this is we do all kinds of things every day for our clients and customers. If you think about someone's touch points once they're a client or customer in your business, how many touch points you have with them is quite a few. So when they're telling you what their reason is for giving you a 9 or 10 on how likely they are to refer a friend and family member to you, they're telling you what they're paying attention to. They're telling you what you should intentionally do more of. That means create a system around that so that you're consistently delivering that and your team is consistently delivering that for you. So that's an opportunity for a lot of times people say, I don't have time to do these big wish list interviews with my clients and customers. Well, start smaller. Start with using the Net Promoter Score and pay attention to what you're getting. The Net Promoter Score, when someone is likely to refer, that means they are happy. So it's a measurement of customer happiness. It's a measurement of how likely they are to refer. And I think of it as a predictive performance indicator for the business. When we start looking at putting systems in place for our clients, we want to have key performance indicators that they monitor so that they can actually be away from the business, and you want those to be predictive. And a lot of times I hear people say, well, what is a predictive key performance indicator? The Net Promoter Score is an example of a predictive key performance indicator.
Yeah. And that's really what you want to focus on. And, I want to make a point here that comes to mind, which is somebody was telling me the other day that one of their clients was saying to them, I think my unique offering has to be something really different that I've never thought of before. And the truth is, what makes you unique is just what makes you stand out in the eyes of your customers. So you don't have to think of something new. What you have to become is aware of what matters the most to your best clients. And like Sabrina said, you do more of it. You figure out ways to amplify that. And suddenly, even if all your other competitors are doing the same thing, you're talking about it. You're demonstrating, you're showing them that you know what they care about. And that's what gets you more business from them and other people like them.
Absolutely. And so Donna said something really important, and that is intentionally doing more of what works.
Yeah.
We're not good as entrepreneurs at paying attention to what's working in our business. We are really good at noticing what's not working and being frustrated and impatient around those things. So one of the things to do to shift that for yourself is to intentionally ask yourself at the end of every day, what were the wins and successes today? What went well? We ask this of our clients every meeting in the Better Business, Better Life program. What are your wins and successes? I learned this very early on when I was coaching one-to-one with clients, that if I didn't start the conversation that way with an entrepreneur, we were going to go right to their biggest problem. And there were not going to be solutions to that problem. It was going to be like Pandora's box, because nothing's going to work. When we start focusing on what's working in our business and we intentionally do more of it, a lot of the other problems go away.
Yeah.
It's like magic, and it really does happen. It's very powerful. And so you can use this question even with your teams when you have team meetings. Start off with wins and successes. And a lot of times people don't want to brag about themselves. So they're going to be like, I have no success. Not me. I didn't do anything good this week. So ask them to say, who did you notice on the team doing something great? What did you notice your teammate doing? And that will sometimes start the conversation. A lot of times it's just going to be about us, the entrepreneur. We have to have our eyes open and say, hey, Stacy did this, or hey, Darren did this, and that was a win or success, and call it out. And that will get the conversation going and flowing in the right direction. So I just want to, Steve is acknowledging, yes, that works. Steve uses it on his team. I just want to acknowledge we have a number of people in the chat commenting that they've joined the Entrepreneurs Take Your Life Back group. They've downloaded the chart of $10,000 an hour activities. That is exciting. And I also want to let you know that we have a series going on the Profit by Design podcast right now, which is my podcast that I co-host with Mike Bruno, and it's sponsored by Tap the Potential. I have 3 episodes coming up on how to make your time worth $10,000 an hour. So what Donna and I did here is we just scratched the surface around how to make your time worth $10,000 an hour. And that in that series, I'm going to pull it together from the perspective of your best use of your time, and also look at, in episode 3, which I'm getting ready to record, I'm going to talk about how to make your team's time worth $10,000 an hour, because it's not just about you. It's how do you get your team members working in their sweet spot in the business from their highest and best purpose, delivering around the sweet spot for you.
Yeah. I listened to the first episode this morning. It was great.
Thank you,
And
Donna.
it's not like, oh, I've never heard this before. But every time I listen, I get struck by something new, or something that I had kind of forgotten about comes back to me. Or, because Sabrina, you and I have talked about this concept over the years a lot, but I still feel like I can learn new things every time we have the discussion, and you come from a different perspective every time you think about it, right? Because your business is evolving. Yes. and your position changes, and what's happening in your business changes. So it's always a good reminder to stop and listen.
Yeah, Adam said he's listened to the podcast. So someone asked, what is the podcast? It's the Profit by Design podcast. And when you download the chart of $10,000 an hour activities, we have all of that there for you. You're going to get links to the podcast series on how to make your time worth $10,000 an hour, plus the invitation to join the Entrepreneurs Take Your Life Back Facebook group. That, you said, Donna, you've heard me talk about how to make your time worth $10,000 an hour several times now. I will say recording these episodes was very helpful to me because I saw myself back in the weeds in some areas in the business. And I was like, well, holy cow, look at that. And so it's one of those things that we need to be continually reminded of. What is the highest and best use of our time in the business?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So I'm wondering if anybody has questions that we haven't answered. So the name of the Facebook group is Entrepreneurs Take Your Life Back. So if people just type that into search in Facebook, they will find it.
Yeah, Dawn has a really good question here. She says, "What if your customers then tell you that what they like best is what you wanted to get rid of?"
That happens.
And it does happen. So when you think about the sweet spot of your business, it is not just what your customers like. It really has to be that intersection of what your top clients and customers appreciate most and what you do best, what you have the opportunity to be the best in the world at. You have no opportunity to be the best in the world at something you don't like doing. And I remember I had when I was in graduate school, and there was I was doing a psychology internship. And at that point, neuropsych was the big thing, and everyone was doing an added rotation on neuropsych. And I was just like, I'm really enjoying my family therapy rotation. I would like to do that twice and not do neuropsych. Could I do that? And my supervisor, he said, you know what? You just do what makes you happy. And no one is going to knock you down later in life because you didn't do a neuropsych rotation. I was like, he's right. So if you focus on what it is that you enjoy most and what you have the opportunity to be the best at, and then look at which clients and customers need that. And it may be that you need to find the clients and customers who need that. So your current mix may not need that. Or you can look at what's going on in what your current top clients and customers are telling you that connects to what you enjoy doing. And this really is where having someone outside your business looking at these responses with you will be very illuminating, because we just, in those responses, we just overlook so much ourselves because we are knee deep in doing the work ourselves all the time.
Yeah. And I will say this, years ago, I had a client who had almost that exact situation where he was trying to figure out how he could expand what he was doing for his clients. And they all wanted him to do something specific that he did not want to move in that direction at all.
Yeah.
And what we did instead was we took a step back and said, what are the problems that they're telling you they have? And what is another way that you can help them resolve those problems that is in line with the work that you want to do?
That's a very good point.
Yeah, because sometimes and this happens all the time. The client thinks that or the business owner, whoever, you think you've diagnosed the problem and you think you know the solution. But what you've done is you've narrowed your scope of thinking, and you've kind of let go of all of these other possibilities because you're seeing it in a very narrow view. So sometimes if you can just open up your thinking and say, okay, what don't I know here? What does my client really need? Why do they think they want me to do this or deliver that? But I also think sometimes it just comes down to that's not the direction you want to go in. And even though you like those clients, it might be time to let that offering go, and therefore potentially let those people go.
Yeah. So I just want to acknowledge we have some good questions coming through in the chat here. First, I want to acknowledge Adam McKee. Adam, you posted the greatest endorsement for the Profit by Design podcast. If you haven't left a review of the podcast yet on Amazon, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, I would so appreciate it if you would post that. He said, be prepared when you listen to the podcast, you will feel the urge to take action. Do it. Don't wait. Your future depends on it. So thank you for that, Adam. That's really my intention with that podcast, is to teach and to show the way that you can take your life back from your business. And then below that, I don't know. I don't want to mispronounce your name. I think it's Chitra. She says, I'm a weight loss and body transformation coach, and I'm wondering about the best way to get scalability. If I don't create other coaches or hire other coaches, what are some other ways to scale my business? So I want to say this is the path that I took initially, is to look at all the other ways to scale my business before I brought on team members. And somebody else, I think it is Adam, who piped in and said, what if you record some of your sessions and then you spread the message in multiple ways? Absolutely. That is one way to do it. And you can look at your clients probably want added value from you. So figuring out, can I do videos that would supplement what I'm doing with them in person that would create a higher level program, or bringing them together in groups? That was one of the very first things that I did. I used to work one-on-one with my clients, and I thought, so-and-so just told me this, and then I'm having this conversation with this other client, and I'm like, I wish those two could talk. They would really be able to help each other if they could just talk. And so that's when I started doing masterminds and retreats and bringing clients together in that way. And then I saw, a group model overall might be more effective than me one-on-one. And so we moved our model to small groups, which is what we do in our Better Business, Better Life program. We have 4 entrepreneurs in one group together and the coaches in there with them. And so that creates that opportunity for people to learn from each other. And there's so much healing power in groups because we all feel like our problems are unique to us. And it must be something wrong with us. Like, we're so screwed up. We have these businesses that run our lives. It must be something that I'm doing wrong. When you get in a group with others with that problem, you realize you're not doing it wrong. It's not you. No one's taught you the right way to do it. And so you've just been doing what everyone else says to do, and it's not getting you the result that you're after. So you have to shift what you're doing. But that group and peer support is powerful, especially when you're trying to make a big life change like weight loss. Putting people into groups to support each other around that and cheer each other on really creates that momentum.
Yeah, and I want to add something to that, which is I like to tell a story about a 17th century British artist called Peter Lely, and basically what he did was he systematized his whole. He was a portrait artist, and he systematized his whole portrait artist business so that what it came down to was he would paint the faces on the women that he painted. He painted women of the court, and he would have apprentices and assistants who did everything else. And so he was still doing what he considered to be his genius work. And he managed to scale his business beyond what any artist in his position had ever done before. And I think since even. And my point here is there are so many things that happen in our business that are not the actual core of the work that we do that other people can do for you. So you could replicate yourself as well in many ways, but you could also take everything off of your plate that doesn't have to be you, including the sales piece, right? Sabrina, that was your first real hire.
Yes, that was my first. After hiring a virtual assistant to help with administrative tasks, I went to the what was then called the Prevendus training. It's now Pumpkin Plan Your Biz, and it was a strategist immersion day. And I worked with Mike and Donna. And they asked me about my sales process. And I said, I'm really proud of my sales process because I have like an 80% conversion rate. And I'm really good. And Donna said, so I think you could, have somebody do that for you. And I was like, no, I am not giving that up. Nobody can sell the services I'm delivering. That just will not work. And you and Mike both challenged me on that. And you walked me through a process that we teach now in Pumpkin Plan Your Biz. It's in the workbook that we take clients through. And it's really about breaking down the steps involved. And you guys had me break down my sales process. And then I came back from that and I had my own coach, and I talked to my own coach and I said, I really resist this. I'm not going to, he said, this is what you absolutely need to do. You're not going to grow if you don't do this. So I hired a salesperson who is still with us today and who has a great conversion rate, does better than I do in sales. Who'd have figured? But it's that thing that we all do to ourselves as entrepreneurs. We kid ourselves about how good we are at all these different things we do in our businesses.
Yeah. And
I'm curious if anyone else can relate to that. Like you have the superwoman or the Superman syndrome going on and you're like, nobody can do it as good as me. Yeah, that's one of the first
Totally.
lies we tell
I'm having
ourselves.
trouble finding where's my hand in the picture here. I'm trying to raise my hand. It's like over here.
Yeah.
Yes, I think we all do that. And you know what I also tell myself when I get that way, like, "Ugh, nobody else can do this like I do." I think about all of the companies out there who are functioning with 10, 20, 50, hundreds, thousands of employees. And I think if the founder of that company had believed that,
Yeah.
then that company would still be one person and, a couple $100,000 a year, if that, so we have to remember that. And I want to tell a quick story, which is very sadly, the CEO of the company that my son works for passed away suddenly yesterday. And he was in his 70s. I'm not sure what happened, but he was beloved. He was the founder of the company. He built this very large company, which, by the way, had just been acquired by Microsoft a few months ago. And my point is this, that my son showed me the comments on Twitter that people were making about him. And one of the things that they were saying over and over again was how much he believed in the people who worked for him, and
Yes.
how he thought that the whole success of the company was dependent on these people. And he didn't take credit for growing the company himself. He surrounded himself with this amazing team. And in the game design, this is a game design company. In the game design industry, there's a lot of turnover. And this company is known for keeping their top talent that stay for years and years and years. In the group that my son works in, everybody in that group, he's a new hire. He's been there almost a year, but everybody else has been there for 5 years or more. And then, you get into 10, 15, 20 years. And that's because the people who grew the company believed that they could bring in talent that could not only do an adequate job, but an amazing job. So if we look at our own mindset and say, there are people out there that can do amazing work, and I know I can find them, then that takes away a little bit, I think, that fear.
Yeah, well, and there's also opportunities that we are depriving others of having. When we hold on to everything in our business, we deprive other people of the opportunity to show up from their gifts and serve and earn a good living doing that. Along these lines, I want to acknowledge Steve Busquet, because he is the master of creating a safe, supported work environment at his business, American Landscape and Lawn Science. He's been very intentional around this. And he just posted a comment a minute ago that says his entire team is higher performing than he is, any task, any function. And that really just speaks to his belief in his team. And he has a team of rock star A players over there.
Yes. I want to acknowledge Steve Busquet also.
Yeah.
Because, and seriously, I truly believe, because I know Steve's story. I've met Steve, and I've heard, and he's been on your podcast a number of times and shared very openly his experiences. And I think, again, it's the same thing. He developed this mindset that he believes in his people.
Yes. And he's also posting, he has taken a 4-week vacation, and, so he shared some of his learnings about this on the Profit by Design podcast. I'm going to have his comments in the 4-week vacation book that's coming out, but it really is about getting out of your team's own way. Are you getting out of your own way and getting out of the team's way when you set that business up that can run without you? And, ultimately, that's what the Better Business, Better Life program is about, is getting you to be able to take that 4-week vacation. And at the same time, I realize that there are a lot of people who hear 4-week vacation and go, oh, that's way beyond where I am right now. I can't even think about hiring someone. And so that's why I've put this Entrepreneurs Take Your Life Back Facebook group together, is for those who want to get that jump start and just start reclaiming their life, the small pieces of your life that you can take back from your business, stopping work on the weekends and being able to just work Monday through Friday. That is a huge step taking back. Don't underestimate the value of being able to do that. And so some of what we shared here today, it gets you on that path of having that ability to unplug for a day, 2 days, a week, 3 weeks longer. And it's really about building up the muscle in your business for that to happen over time. Small steps forward in a consistent direction lead to big change over time.
Yes. And I also want to acknowledge, I can't tell who this is. It's not showing up for me, but somebody talked about that it's about giving up control and how hard that is. It is very, very hard. And I am not going to pretend like I've completely gotten there. Like I've given up a lot of control, but other things I'm like, here, no. Oh, here, no.
Yeah.
So it's a process for sure. That idea that like, oh, I can believe in somebody else enough to give this to them. But it's also very freeing, very freeing.
Yeah.
And Sabrina, you model that for me all the time because I love it when I see you empowering your team, and that empowers me to go, oh, look at how great this is. And I'm going to do that too. I'm going to be more like Sabrina and empower my team versus trying to hold on to everything myself.
My team blows me away with what they do, especially when I'm gone. I think they get better when I'm gone.
Yeah.
So I'm very mindful of that. And I just want to say, I love the discussion going on here in the chat that I think it's Chitra said, I can't wait to be able to say that in a year about taking a 4-week vacation. And Megan is working on a long-term goal of a 3-month vacation. So that's the power of what's happening here in groups, because you guys are inspiring each other and you're hearing someone else's success, and it makes you aware, I can do this too. So Steve is one of our trailblazers. I'm wearing my trailblazer vest here at Tap the Potential, where he's taken a 4-week vacation. Our trailblazers, those who've done that, I feel like it's our responsibility to share with the rest of the entrepreneurs. You can take your life back. You absolutely can take a 4-week vacation. Adam is commenting that he just started his intake this morning with Stacy on our team at Tap the Potential, and he's coming into the Better Business, Better Life program. Adam, I'm so excited to have you on board with us, and I cannot wait for the opportunity to get to take you through this in depth. It's going to be a lot of fun.
That's awesome. And for all of you, I want to offer a few more words of encouragement about like the concept of 4-week vacation, because Sabrina knows this. The first time I took the 4-week vacation pledge, I had no team, right? I had nobody to help me. I had no clue how I was going to do it, but I set the wheels in motion, right? I said, all right, I'm going to commit to this. And the first one was mostly a failure. I pretended to take a 4-week vacation, but I really didn't. Basically what I did was I stopped doing some of the things that I do, and those things just didn't get done, right? But it showed me all of the places where I could improve to do better the next time. And then the next time I did a test vacation, remember I went to Europe unplugged for 10 days.
Yes.
And everything went fine. And that was just like 6 months later after my first failed 4-week vacation. So, and so I built up to it. So don't think to yourself, like I would say, if you're thinking to yourself right now, oh my gosh, I'm not anywhere close to that. So I shouldn't even be thinking about it. Just starting to think about it. Like the person who said, I'm going to take a 3-month vacation, I don't know if you're anywhere near that, but just setting that goal sets the wheels in motion for you to figure out how to get there.
So, and I want to just offer encouragement too. The first time I took a 4-week vacation, I did it by accident, and I didn't even realize what I had done. And so this was when I was pregnant with my second daughter, and I was about 5 months out from my delivery date. And I was a solopreneur with my virtual assistant. And I thought to myself, I really don't want to go through, missing those precious moments of having a newborn when I'm so drawn into everything in my business, and how can I free myself up? And I just made that decision right then and there. I was going to give myself a long maternity leave. I was going to take a 6-week maternity leave. Well, that 6-week maternity leave turned into 9.5 weeks off. And my business, we had sales come in to the business and money was collected. The whole cycle happened without me. And I only had 5 months as a solopreneur to get these things in place. The problem is I didn't realize what I had done. And when I came back, I just went right back into my old roles in the business and told all the people helping me, oh, I don't need you anymore. I'm back. So the lesson there is don't undo what you've done to be able to take an extended time away from your business. But you absolutely can do it. And it really is about just putting that stake in the ground. We call it throwing your hat over the fence. Throw your hat over, make the 4-week vacation pledge and say, I'm doing this. This is going to happen for me. And then you will spot opportunities. And that's the thing. Once we have a really clear intention, we will spot opportunities to make that happen. So Donna, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Sabrina.
I was just going to say, I want to just tell people, if you haven't downloaded the How to Make Your Time Worth $10,000 an Hour, that really is the best place to start working towards a 4-week vacation and creating space in your life to enjoy the things that matter most to you. So you can get that at tapthepotential.com/10K, and it'll invite you into the Facebook group, Entrepreneurs Take Your Life Back. And we're going to have so much fun and so many good, fun things happening there. We're going to have some fun contests and giveaways, trainings. It's going to be an exciting group to be a part of.
Oh, totally fun, Sabrina. Well, thank you. So when we started, Sabrina said, how long do you want to go? And I said, well, we'll see what kind of conversations are happening, and somewhere around half an hour to an hour. But now we're over an hour. Mm-hmm. So thank you to everybody who has stuck with us. Sabrina and I could probably talk for another couple hours, but
Donna and I have a lot of really good long conversations, but it's been really inspiring to see the connections happening in the chat. Yeah. Adam was connecting with Chitra. That's really what the value of connecting with other entrepreneurs is. And so it's wonderful to see that participation that we had today.
Yeah, I do want to shout out Adam, because Adam has showed up to another event that I did. And Adam, I just love your positive energy and your encouragement of everybody. So,
and I just want to say, Taryn is saying she didn't get the download. So Taryn, if you direct message me on Facebook with your email address, I will make sure we get you the download. So I see that it's not an issue because other people have downloaded it, but there's something glitchy on her end. So I'll take care of you, Taryn, and make sure you get it.
Yeah, so just find Sabrina Starling and
just send me a direct message with your email. I'll get it to you.
Yeah, or Sabrina@tapthepotential.com.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can email me at Sabrina@tapthepotential.com and we'll get it to you as well.
Okay. Some very lovely person said that they wish this wouldn't end.
Yeah, Jose.
Who was that? Jose, thank you.
Yeah, and
we'll hang with you
for being with us.
Yeah, we'll hang with you all afternoon if you want. All right, Sabrina, this is always so much fun, and I hope you'll come back again. And I need to go join your Facebook group too.
Yes.
And you've just been I just need to say, you've been so generous with your time and your knowledge, and so many opportunities to just soak it up. How to Hire the Best, the book, that's a great investment. The free Facebook group, the podcast is free, comes out every Thursday. And I'll just plug myself. Sometimes I'm a guest on the podcast, and those are really worth listening to.
Those are some of our most downloaded episodes when Donna is on the podcast. Mike McAllowitz has been on the podcast too. So we have Steve Busquet has been there. We have some really fun guests, and every time we have someone on the podcast, it's really to serve and teach and share success stories. So
that's the Profit by Design is the name of the podcast. So go search that out. All right, Sabrina, I'm going to release you.
Thank you, everyone. I so appreciate everyone who joined us. Thank you, Donna.
Thank you. Okay, so now I have to remember how to turn this off. Oh, there it is. I see the button now. All right. And I'm sure Amy Marie is out there cracking up, laughing at me that I can't figure out how to turn off the Facebook Live. Okay, everybody. It's just technology. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.